Lily's Derbyshire Life. Today is a recipe day. If you remember a few weeks ago, I did a barbecue and I shared footage of our dinner on my Instagram stories, and the number of you who have asked for the chicken kebab recipe and the steak recipe is really quite overwhelming. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to show you the marinated for a few hours in the fridge, and then we'll get to the grill later this afternoon. So let's get started. Okay, the very first thing I'm going to do is brew the saffron. Now, I know saffron is expensive. I'm quite lucky because my family bring it from abroad. It's a bit cheaper there, but even then, I grind it so it actually works out a lot cheaper in the sense that you can make it last a lot longer. It goes a really long way when you grind saffron. So if you'd like me to show you how I do that, let me know. And I could also do a video for that. But you want basically your saffron in a bowl. Even if you haven't ground it, it will still work. And you want about 1/4 cup of boiling water. Look at that. Can you see the gorgeous colours? Now, obviously, we're going to be adding raw chicken and yogurt to this. So you need to do this first and let it cool down before you add anything else to it. So meanwhile, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of vegetable oil. Now, this is the only time I would say do not use olive oil. You want a flavorless oil. Olive oil competes with the flavor of everything else a bit too much. Then you want juice of 1 lime. Now, I am cooking about 3 pounds of chicken breast today. I do usually like to do this with chicken wings, and chicken breast at the same time. But my local shops did not have chicken wings. Sorry, the smell of the lime. Yeah, so juice of the lime, let that cool down. Meanwhile, I'm going to be chopping up some onions. So you want 1 large onion or a couple of mediums. And I'm just going to cut them into half moons and add them to this. And when it cools down, we'll add some Greek yogurt and the chicken, and done. Very easy. So I've got the onion in. That's the only thing I've added. And I'm just now going to add some yogurt. So you want about 1 cup of Greek plain yogurt. Obviously, you know, not the fruit variety. Just give it a mix. And then we'll add the chicken in, salt and pepper. And this is going to go in the fridge for a minimum of 4 hours. You could go up to 8 hours. So you want to do this in the morning and cook it in the evening, that's fine. I don't tend to recommend yogurt-based marinades overnight. You know, what with it having lime in there, it could make the chicken really, really tough. So that's just what I do. But look at how beautiful. Can you see the colour? Gorgeous. Now, usually I buy my own chicken breasts whole and I cut them into cubes. Again, my local shops didn't have any, so I ended up buying fillets. Just adding a bit of salt. I always use sea salt, so a bit of freshly ground black pepper. Then I'm going to cover it with cling film and put it in the fridge. And I'm going to use metal skewers for this. I recommend you use metal skewers just because they get hot inside and they cook the chicken from the inside as well. Right, with the steaks, I buy lean medallion steaks for the grill for barbecuing. And what I do is just poke at them with the fork a few times, just so that the marinade can get in there. Now, you can marinate this as little as half an hour or 4 hours again. So I'm going to cook this obviously with the chicken and I'm marinating them at the same time. It could not get easier, guys, honestly. So just pop your steaks on your plate that you're going to marinate it in. And all you want to do for both of them, drizzle olive oil. Now, when I make a steak dinner, I always use fresh garlic and fresh thyme. But because this is marinating and it's going to go on charcoal, it burns too much and it just loses its flavor. So, but what I do, a little bit of onion granules. It really could not be easier. A little bit of garlic granules. More garlic, less onion. Salt. Again, sea salt. Freshly cracked black pepper. And a little bit of dried thyme. Now, this marinade, what I'm going to do is now rub it in. And then the excess I brush off. And do it for the underneath. Use it for the underside. So, flip it over. A little bit more olive oil. And just rub it and repeat for that. Cover and put in the fridge. The only important thing now that you need to remember is everything has to come to room temperature before it goes onto the grill. But yeah, let's move on to the next bit. Okay guys, so the chicken happily marinated for a few hours. I'm just going to skewer them. I'm only doing this with gloves because I burnt my finger in the oven yesterday. So I just don't want my wound to get aggravated with, the lime and all that. But, you don't need to use gloves. Ordinarily, I wouldn't. But yeah, so I'm just going to pop them. You don't want to crowd them on the skewers. So if you need to have more skewers, that's fine. But, no more than this 3. But obviously, if you've got cubes, then have a few more. But yeah, so basically on the size of your skewer, just go ahead. And I've got just a oven tray covered with foil so it doesn't get messy. I will be covering it again with foil when I go out to grill. That way no flies or anything sits on it, which is quite good. Yeah, I'm just going to carry on skewering these. The steak, I don't know if you can see, it's just, look, nothing's happened to it. It's just sat in the fridge. I'm just letting it come to room temperature while I put the chicken on skewers. And yeah, it really couldn't be simpler. In terms of skewers, if you want to use bamboo skewers, you want to soak them in water for 24 hours. Otherwise they'll just catch on fire and everything will fall off and you won't be able to cook your food. But I do like the metal ones because, as I said, they heat through the middle as well and they cook the chicken that much better. If you're thinking they are working out a bit expensive, if you hang on to the end of summer, usually end of August or first week of September, a lot of places will have them on sale. So just keep an eye out, and then that way you just have them and, you just keep washing them and using them. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just going to carry on filling the skewers up. And when I'm grilling, I'll show you what I'm doing then. Okay guys, I know the lighting isn't great, but I'm gonna have a taste test for you. Oh, so good. Oh, it's so good. It's not dried, it's perfectly cooked. You won't go wrong. I'm gonna go in. If they don't deserve this in heaven, I'm not going. I say that all the time. I hope you've enjoyed watching this. Let me know if you give it a go. I'll see you next time. Bye.